The street was quiet that morning, the kind of quiet that almost feels earned after a long week. Birds chirping in the distance, the slow creak of porch swings, and the rustle of magnolia trees shedding their petals in the breeze. That kind of Sunday quiet. And there was Ruth 62, deliberate, elegant in her own modest way, walking back home from church like she did every year on her anniversary. Same blue dress, same silver dove brooch, same lilies in hand. If you knew Ruth, you knew she moved like she carried history in her bones. And maybe she did. She was 2 blocks from her house when it started. Just 2. That was the distance between ordinary and what would change everything. The cruiser wasn't blaring, no sirens, no warnings. Just parked across the street, angled to see everything. At first she didn't pay it any mind, just another patrol car, maybe someone checking their radar. But the air around it felt heavy, like static before a storm. Ruth felt it before she even saw the man. White, late 30s, buzz cut. No sunglasses, no radio chatter. Just watching. Just waiting. She kept walking. Didn't speed up, didn't slow down. Her mama always told her, don't let him know you notice him. That's how you keep your power. But even power has its limits when you're a black woman walking alone with Bible and flowers and a lifetime of dignity. And someone decides that's suspicious. Ma'am, he called out. Ruth turned, slowly. Not because she was scared, but because she wanted to be clear about what this was. Yes, officer. Where you headed? She smiled faintly, almost amused. Home. Just up on Maple. From church. That's right. St. Luke's. He nodded, eyes scanning the lilies, the Bible, the silver chain at her collarbone. You live around here? Lived on this street longer than you've worn that badge, she said evenly. No bite, just truth. And that was the moment it turned. His eyes sharpened, jaw locked. That truth bruised something in him, and now he needed to reclaim control. We got a call, he said. Someone fitting your description, casing houses. Ruth arched an eyebrow. Carrying lilies and scripture? That'd be a first. He stepped closer. Too close. She smelled the aftershave, felt the shift in his stance. He wanted escalation, wanted her to give him something. But Ruth wasn't new to this. She didn't flinch. Let me see some ID, he said. Have I broken any laws? You match a report. She didn't move. Didn't even blink. You ask every woman over 60 for ID when she's walking home from church? Or just the black ones with good posture? That did it. His face twitched. And in a flash, it was like something snapped inside him. No yelling, no warning launched. One hand grabbed her arm hard enough to bruise. The other shoved her into the wall behind her, bricks scraping through fabric. His forearm pinned across her collarbone, not choking her fully, but just enough to remind her who thought he was in charge. Her lilies hit the ground. The Bible slid from her purse, pages fluttering like breath. Ruth didn't scream. She didn't cry. She looked him in the eye and whispered, You don't get to do this. You're resisting, he barked. I'm standing, she said. Quiet. Clear. Solid. Across the street, someone yelled, Hey, get your hands off her. A phone camera clicked. Another voice. She ain't doing anything, man. But Doyle, that was his name, she would learn, didn't care. Because he'd already decided what kind of person she was, and no brooch or Bible was going to change that. His grip tightened. Her breath came short. Her knees trembled but didn't give. And that's when the world shifted again. A black SUV turned the corner fast. Tires screeching, door already opening before it fully stopped. And out stepped Raymond. 6'3", gray suit, no tie, face carved from patience and fire. Her husband, a federal judge, not just in title, but in presence. He didn't run. He didn't shout. He walked straight up like a man who knew the law better than anyone and could wield it like a sword. Step away from my wife. The officer hesitated. Maybe the words didn't register. Maybe the badge number in his mind got scrambled. But when Raymond took another step forward, eyes like cold steel, he repeated it. I said step. Away. From my wife. The air went still. Even the birds stopped. The officer backed off, hands lifting, face pale. Ruth sagged slightly against the wall, one hand on her shoulder where the pain was blooming. The crowd murmured now. Phone's up. A teenager whispered, "Yo, that's a federal judge." "He's done." Raymond didn't yell. He didn't need to. He looked Doyle in the eye and said, "You just assaulted the wrong woman." The sergeant arrived 5 minutes later. Black. Female. Mid-40s. Her expression unreadable. She asked for the facts. She heard from Ruth. Heard from witnesses. And heard Doyle stammer some lie about non-compliance. Raymond cut in, calm as ever. "Did she run? Did she threaten you? Or did you just not like that she didn't look scared?" The sergeant nodded slowly. "We'll be handling this. File your complaint." "This won't end with a complaint," Ruth said. "This ends in court." And it did. By sunrise, the video had gone viral. News vans parked outside the courthouse. The same spot where Doyle had pressed her to brick now became her stage. Ruth walked in with her chin high, wearing gray like stone. Raymond beside her, not as protector, but as witness, as partner. The courtroom was packed: press, clergy, activists, neighbors who never spoke before now nodding in solidarity. The video played in silence. The moment her breath caught under his forearm, the crowd's voice, the SUV, Raymond, all of it. Doyle sat stiff, out of uniform now, in a cheap gray suit that didn't fit right. His lawyer whispered, but it didn't matter. Ruth took the stand, and the room fell so still you could hear hearts beating. "I wasn't attacked for what I did," she said. "I was attacked for how I looked walking free." When the verdict came down, liable on all counts, assault, misconduct, civil rights violation, no one cheered. Just silence, thick and righteous. Afterward, Ruth didn't talk to reporters. She walked past them with her Bible back in hand, lilies freshly replaced by neighbors who left them on her porch. She and Raymond sat on their porch that night. Didn't talk much. Didn't need to. The city felt different. Not fixed, but aware. Ruth began writing names in a notebook: pastors, journalists, educators. People who could build from this. Raymond called judges, council members. They weren't just reacting. They were planning. By the end of the month, body cam policy was changed. An oversight board formed with Ruth as its chair. Use of force reports became public. Officers resigned. Some stayed and listened. At the first community town hall, Ruth stood under string lights on a school stage and asked, "What do you want your street to feel like when your child walks it alone?" A woman said, "Safe." Ruth nodded. "Then let's make that law." And that wall, where it started? Someone painted it soft blue. No plaque. No fanfare. Just two words in careful brushstroke, still standing. If you felt something while hearing this: anger, hope, memory, don't let it fade. Share it. Talk about it. Because silence didn't protect Ruth. Her voice did. So now it's your turn. Drop a comment, share your story, and tell us. What would you have done if you saw Ruth that day? And what would you want someone to do for you? Let's not just witness justice, let's build it.